It's a Wednesday night, so you know what time it is. It's another episode of the Greens Gridiron Exchange, and it is round two of the playoffs. Man, it is here and it is exciting. Only a few teams left, but I want to go ahead and welcome in Andy V and Royce Willer. How you fellas doing tonight, man?
Doing real good, man. We got a good show. Got a couple guys coming on, so I'm looking forward to that. Um, how about you, Andy? I saw that you was at a nice game, man. That was a great game to be at. Largo and was it Palmetto? Was that what they played?
Yeah, it was a lot better than the Friday game I was at. That was for sure. Uh, yeah, that was absolute thriller. Those teams matched up really well. I mean, just to I guess give you guys a little bit of insight. Just Largo definitely outnumbered in terms of and I'm guessing that's how it's been all season for Coach Pascal. You could tell the guys that they got going on offense and defense. I mean, those are their guys. Like, I mean, no offense to the kids that are on the sidelines, but it seems like he's not really digging into the bench. It's kind of the guys he's got out on the field those are the dudes. Was really impressed with Anthony Harris. That kid's a player. I really like him. He's
Oh yeah,
he's got a nice wiggle. Um, Definitely just able to get separation when he needs to. There's a one play he caught a screen and he kind of vanished in the play and then he like reappears and then he scores. So it was kind of like it's one point you don't see him, next thing you know he's in the end zone. So and then the game-winning touchdown, Xavier Phillips finding him on the sideline. I just kind of was like, if Largo gets the ball one more time, I think they're gonna find a way. I don't know how, but they're gonna score just because that's the way this game is going. It's almost like they just you could feel that old Largo kind of energy of like they believed in themselves. They felt like the entire game, even at halftime, they were outgained by like 160 yards of offense. So those numbers alone would tell you like Palmetto probably should have had that game somewhat in hand, and they didn't.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Largo found a way. And kudos to Coach Pascal, those kids. They persevered on a hot Saturday afternoon because that's not when you're playing high school football, in the playoffs. Usually playing on a Friday night, but kind of stunk to see after the game. There was a little bit of a melee after the game. I don't know if anything really became of it, but I saw both teams go into their locker rooms at the same time, and after an emotional game like that, that's
yeah,
probably not what you want happening. You kind of want one team to go in the locker room, let the other team wait, and then the other team go into their locker room. It was kind of like when I
yeah,
seen both of them head to their locker room at the same time, I said, uh-oh.
yeah. The
Oh,
one
no.
team just need to head to the bus, honestly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
usually what you do. To head straight to the bus, dog. The talking is on. Let's get on this bus and go, fellas. You know what I'm saying? But man, yeah, we're gonna talk about that a little bit more, man. So first, before we get some guys on, man, we're gonna talk about our first and second team, man. That we presented last week. Get you guys insight on that a little bit. Um, I know Green also had his team as well. But we started off, man, and our headlines kind of with the bogey guys. We had three bogey guys on there. Um, Bogey, of course, showed up big against Pinellas kind of last week. Mason Stark headlined the team, with being the only guy on both offense and defense. And of course, we talked about Jershawn Newton. If you guys haven't recently saw, he is sitting at 102 touchdowns now, tied with Jacob Drackett for all-time leader. But you got Jeff Jones sitting right back there at 99 career touchdowns. So he's three touchdowns back. So two guys who honestly, man, they're historically probably top five in county history. Because you're talking about all-purpose yards as well. I think Jershawn is probably about 30 yards behind Ryan Davis. from Lakewood. So he's also up there as well as far as all-purpose yards. And I mean, you got to think both of these guys. You know, Deshaun Newton was a defensive end his freshman year. Jeff Jones played JV and he played running back for like 5 games on varsity his freshman year. So these guys didn't immediately. So this is 3 years of work for both of these guys. So that's amazing. Um, let's just talk about our first team. Now, the crazy thing about the first team, I don't know if you guys saw, was it the FACA? Did you guys see they had the first team? Who was their first team quarterback? Did you guys see? I think they had. Did you see Green? I know it wasn't Jershawn. Was it Jeff Jones?
Yeah, I believe it was Jeff Jones.
Yeah, and he got play, and he was player of the year. He was named player of the year. Um, I mean, just looking at this list, who would you guys juggle anybody around? Would you guys pretty much go with this list?
Yeah, all of these guys, and first and foremost, hats off to the first team guys, second team guys, everyone who made the list because for you guys, some of the choices were obvious, but then some of the choices, man, could have went either way on the first or the second team. And so if you guys were on the second team, it's not a slight. Some of those guys just edged you out, but pertaining to the list, you can't find a better quarterback in the area being consistent over the years than Deshaun Newton, as you just kind of alluded to the things that he's done since fully playing the quarterback position and just the things that he's been able to accomplish his 4 short years here at CCC, just remarkable. And like I wrote, he has an opportunity to submit himself, of course, in the record books if and when if he can make it to that state title and win one. I think that would really set him apart from everyone else in the county, being able to have been there 2 times already and falling short, but then making a third straight appearance. And he's the leader of the team. And just going down the list with running backs, Zamir McNeil, he was by far, in my opinion, the most balanced all-around back that showed, breakaway ability, toughness between the tackles, running between the tackles, the speed to outrun defenders in the secondary. And then also he was a guy that, just like Jeff Jones to me, he got stronger as the game wore on. Got an opportunity to see him in person against Lakewood, against a tough defense, and he ran through them like butter. And I think that speaks volumes on what type of running back he is and just the things that he was able to do. And just briefly as we go down the list, Mason Stark, he could have been anywhere as a utility running back on the defensive side of the ball. Like you mentioned, he was the only player, I believe, that was on both the offense and the defense representing on a first or a second team. So hats off to him. Makai Johnson by far was the best receiver. He led the county in receiving. Walter Flanoy also, I think for the FCA, he got the player of the year, right, for their class 3.
Yeah.
The year. So those guys were easily 1 and 2, or as we like to say sometimes, 1A and 1B. You know what I'm saying? As far as receivers go, you can put them anywhere on the field. Makai is one of the more outside receivers with his size, somewhere around 6'2", 190, but was a vertical threat for Tarpon Springs. And he was one of the highlights or spotlight guys against Bishop Varro. Me and Andy was, throwing emojis when we seen it was 21-0. This past, and he was the first one to put points on the board, and we had a ball game for a minute. But just to, that speaks volume to, it doesn't matter of the caliber of defense that he played against, especially when he was at CAI. He had played some of the top defenses in the state, and he was able to produce there, and he didn't miss a beat. And so that's why he's up there along with Walter Fenoy, just a dynamic wide receiver who's able to do things kind of like a Joshua Robinson. He's able to return kicks. He's able to return punts. You can put him in the slot. You can put him back in the running backs, spot. Just an overall dynamic athlete that when he gets the ball in his hands, he can take it the distance. And with the O-line, all of these guys showed up this year on the offensive line. So shout out to all of our first team guys who made the list. And again, with the second team guys, you guys just was able to edge them out because it was a tough decision on some of the guys on whether they would be first team or second team.
Definitely. What about you, Andy? What you feel like this list is solid?
Yeah, I like the list. Just kind of looking at it. I mean, I know I didn't really get to contribute too much at all to it, but I mean, just taking a look at the guys, got to agree with Jershawn Newton. Obviously, just consistency over, probably like if you're looking for huge passing numbers, you're not going to get them. But what you're going to get is he's a thousand guy. His past 3 years, I mean, he's going to give you over 1,000 through the air, 1,000 on the ground, and he's a leader. Illinois commit, and I agree with Green. If he could lead the Marauders to state title, that would absolutely cap one of the best careers of any player that's ever stepped foot in Pinellas County. Unfortunately, the one time I did get to see Mr. McNeil of P Park play, it was the first time they play Manatee during the regular season. It looks like they really put more points and yards up against the Hurricanes the second time around. But I mean, they're by looking at him, you could definitely why he's one of the top running backs in the county, and just the workhorse for that Patriots offense. And then Mr. Stark, he's been doing it all season for Seminole, and just the numbers he put up on a weekly basis. It's just unfortunate we couldn't get him just a glimpse of him here in the playoffs, but I'm sure next season maybe they'll return to the FHSA. And then the two receivers, I mean, I'll tell you what, Boca Ciega doing a number on Chamberlain. I mean,
Yeah.
if that didn't sell you on what Walter Flannery and Dylan Nora are doing over there, along with the other guys on that Pirates team. I mean, I wasn't surprised they won. I was surprised at the score. I mean, 52-13. Man, them guys. That's what it made me say. I haven't seen Boca Ciega, but hey, I could fully see them. I'm sure we'll talk about it. We'll get into that. But and then the offensive line, I know of Calvary. I mean, he's a Division I prospect. You got Andrew Burton with CCC. I mean, Holloway at Lakewood. These guys are, top of the line offensive linemen when you're looking at Pinellas County. So this is I like the offensive group you guys put together.
Definitely, man. Appreciate that, guys. Appreciate that. And then on the defensive end, we got Mr. Noel Brown holding it down the D line. Weren't a lot of D linemen really that stuck out to us, so we kind of kept that number down. But we got Noel Brown of Clearwater, Greg Thomas, and Keo Jenkins. Keo Jenkins just getting his first Division I offer from Long Island University. Congratulations to him. Both CCC guys. Jacob Taylor, who on film, man, he's a missile on film. He's a guy. You just have to watch him play. You could definitely see why he was one of those guys who earned Player of the Year, I think, for their class, for East Lake's class. So I could definitely see why when you watch him on film, he didn't have those big numbers, but when it came down to showing up and really being a banger, despite the circumstances at Eastlake, he really showed up pretty big. Wayne Cunningham, of course, he didn't have the big numbers as well, but when you see him and you see what he does, you can see why he's first team. And then we went ahead and put CJ Cresser. If you watch CJ Cresser on film, he's one of those guys who he's always in the box. Didn't really play a lot of DB versus playing a lot of middle linebacker, some safety, playing the box over 100 tackles. Kevon Emron, not somebody who gets a lot of publicity like we think he should, but this kid is he's a missile. If you watch him play, every time I've seen him play, I don't know. Did you guys get a chance? Did you get a chance to see him against Tarpon Springs? Was that shootout at Northeast Tarpon, Andy?
No, I didn't. I didn't
Did you
get to
guys
see.
get to see Northeast play this year at all?
Yeah, I watched him against Lakewood.
Yeah, and I mean, I know I watched him a little bit on film, and I watched him last year, and the kid's a missile.
Yeah.
And we got a couple guys at DB. But before we continue on with our defense, we got somebody here who's a first team guy, Mr. Makai Johnson. We're gonna go ahead and bring him in real quick, bring him to the stage real quick. Let's see. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. What's going on, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, man?
All right, man. We're doing great, man. We appreciate you coming on, man. Once again, we wanna say congratulations on the season, man. You did a wonderful job. We know you guys had an early exit, but we just want to say, man, we're big fans. I know that at least I know that I am. I know that me and Green, we discovered you. I think when you was a freshman, man, and you wowed us then. Just like you kind of wow us now, man, and we just want to say congratulations on your commitment, and just throw a couple questions at you if that's okay.
Yes, sir. I just want to say thank you for all the love and support through my senior season, from freshman to senior season. I know y'all been watching me and stuff like that. I just want to say appreciate that. Um, Also, another thing, I want to say thank you to my coaches and teammates for,
Yeah.
you know, my teammates for being there for me, my coaches for being there for me through some hard times. Um, and yeah, so that's what I want to say.
All right, definitely, man. So we know that freshman year at Tarpon, you came in, man. You really did your thing. Came on the radar. Then you made a decision to go to CAI. Uh, how do you feel about those 2 years that you were at CAI with, of course, with Coach Jesse and all those guys? Do you feel like that really helped set the stage for where you are now? Okay, you hear us? Okay, we losing.
Might be on mute.
No, I don't think he's on mute. Can you hear us?
Makai.
If you can, I'm gonna remove you and bring you back in. Give me one moment.
Yeah, as you bring them, take them out and bring them back. I remember working with, I believe it's his uncle, when he came out of Tarpon Springs, and prior to him, as he was coming into his freshman year, he inboxed me, and he was like, "Man, you got to look out for my cousin." At this time, he was already about 6'1", 6'2", coming in as a freshman. And ever since then, I'm like, man, I'm gonna definitely keep an eye out on this kid, and he's done nothing but impress from that time since until now. And so again, man, just a testament to his hard work, dedication, and him just wanting to be the best every time he stepped out on the field. I had an opportunity to do an interview with Makai right after he committed to UConn, and his thing was that he was he predicated off of his size, his speed, and he wanted to show other schools in the area or around the country what type of athlete he was going to be this year, what type of receiver he was going to be, and I'll let him get a little into that a little more. But again,
Right.
guys see what type of athlete he is, more than deserving of that first team
You
selection.
guys scare me?
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can hear you now, Beast. We
Oh,
can hear you
that's
now.
my
So,
bad, man.
all good, all good. But okay. So yeah, we just had a so we know that you left Tarpon. You went to CAI for those 2 years, man. You went over there with Coach Jesse. You played against some top competition. You waited your turn, and then you came back to Tarpon once they shut CAI down. How do you feel about those 2 years that you were at CAI? Do you feel like they helped get you to where you are now?
Yes, sir. They definitely helped me a lot with developing as a player, as a receiver, and also like help me develop my mindset, help me get a good mindset. Cause like going there was like everybody was D1, everybody
Mhm.
had one goal, and that helped me. That
Cool,
helped me
cool,
develop
cool.
as a player.
Yes, so I could definitely see how that would, and I like how you were real patient there, man. And how do you feel about how everybody was hating on y'all for a minute, man? I never got a chance to really ask a player. How did you guys always kind of take that in as a team? Like, did you guys just kind of tune that out, or you guys just kind of used to laugh at it, or how you guys
Like
felt that used to feel about it?
hating on CAI.
Yeah, man, because a lot of
Yeah,
the players kind of there was a lot of little hate on CAI, man.
yeah, we just kind of tuned it out and like did what we had to do. Like we wasn't too worried about what people had to say about us. We know that we had one goal, one job, and that's what we stuck with.
Cool, cool, definitely, man. I might ask one more question. I'm passing the green. So, what made you choose UConn? Are you 100? You're 100% solid. And yeah, what made you choose them? Over, I'm pretty sure you had some other offers at some other schools that were kind of banging down your door a little bit.
Yes, sir. It was UConn stood out a lot because like it felt like home. Like the coaches, the way Coach Kashif Moore and the way he introduced me to his peoples and all the coaches greeted me with love. All the players greeted me with love when I took my OV. And it just felt like home. Like it just felt different. Like we had a different connection, like from the other coaches that I talked to and built like relationships with, like we had a different type of relationship. Like it felt genuine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's
Love
one of
that.
the
Love
big
it.
reasons why I chose UConn.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, so I just was going to ask. So now that the season has, kind of come to a halt, and what's next on the agenda? What's the plans coming into signing day?
Um, I'm trying to get into like a little state all-star game.
Okay,
Me and coach, my head coach, where he's like putting word in for me, stuff like that. So I'm trying to get into that. Signing day, early signing day, December 4th.
okay,
Um, yeah, trying to look more into that to see if I'm going to be signing early or am I going to wait.
gotcha. And to me, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but it sounds like some more schools could be sniffing in and maybe giving you something to think about. Is there any schools, and you don't have to name them if you don't want, but is there any other schools that's kind of giving you, like I just said, something to think about or putting pressure on UConn to say like, hey, I don't know, is there any other schools out there that's attractive?
Uh, Yeah, kind of, but that all falls back into the relationship that I have with UConn, like the bond and stuff that we built
Got you.
falls into that. So yeah, I have some things to talk about with my family, stuff like that.
Got you. Got you. And lastly, what is it that you think coming into that freshman year, do you want to see yourself maybe improve on as a receiver or as a player or as just a personal?
Yeah, there's definitely tons of room for improvement as a player and a receiver, but I think me going like to the next level, I think I should kind of go to defense because I'm like a natural ability defensive player. Like it's just natural to me. Offense is kind of something that I had to learn. Like me going to CEI, that's when I started taking receivers seriously. Like, cause you had to choose one position. Either you could play defense or offense, and I chose offense. So that's when I started taking receivers seriously. So yeah, there's always tons of room to improve as a player.
Wow. And see, that's something that's good to know because in Pinellas County, most schools do play in both ways just because of the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
you really don't have that choice to say, well, I'm just going to stick to this side of the ball or I'm going to stick to that side of the ball. Most coaches want you to play both ways just because the type of athlete you are, we need you on the field at all times. So, like I said, man, congratulations to you. Job well done, and you proved and said what you said you was gonna do when I interviewed you early this year and did the article. You did exactly what you said you was gonna do, and that was to be the number one top receiver in the county. So again, hats off to you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. And I just want to say one thing on the two-way player part.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this year they only allowed me to play 3 games as a DB. So, but as a DB, I played 3 games and had a pretty good little 3 game. I had 19 tackles, one interception. Um, I feel like if I played more defense towards the beginning of the season, I would have had like some more opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree because you fit the typical size for the type of DBs for that next level that they're looking for with your size and your range. I think you could play anywhere at the next level, whether it's offense or defense. So
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, definitely good to know, man. You looking forward to defense, man, because I think that that makes you that leaves you open to being coachable, man. And if it doesn't work out on defense, you could definitely flip out, the offense. Whereas versus a lot of players, they want to go to offense, and if it doesn't work out, I'll creep over the defense. So like to hear that you open to that. Ed, did you have any questions, man, before we get Makai up out of here?
Sure. I'll ask him a couple questions. What's going on, Makai? I the one tarpon game I did go to this season, I don't think he suited up. It was against Osceola.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I didn't suit up. I had a growing problem in the beginning of the season, so I kind of sat out a lot of offense. So I could have done a lot more better stat wise, but it's all good. We still got the job done. Still broke that 1,000.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say 51 catches, 1,072, 10 touchdowns. Not too bad. Only
Yeah,
an
not so bad.
83-yard, 9 touchdown improvement from a year ago. Um, have you visited Pratt and Whitney Stadium in Hartford?
I have.
What did you, I can actually say I've visited that stadium around this time. Actually, do you like the cold?
Uh, I like the cold, but that's like a different type of cold.
It is indeed, because I sat in the stands watching UConn. I forget. I think they played like UNLV or something, and I think it was 30-degree weather, and there must have been a wind chill. that brought it to make it feel like 15. So it was definitely let's just say it's nothing like playing in Pinellas County.
Yeah, definitely. Ain't nothing like that Florida weather.
No, I'll say the one at the time I did get to see you play was that last year, that unbelievable comeback win by you guys over Sarasota Riverview. Remember, you had a couple catches just on post routes, and I was like, obviously everybody knew about the other receiver, the Minnesota commit, and but I noticed you. I just was like, "Who's this?" Like, and I know Coach Tinchar was like, he's like, "Watch out for him." He's like, he's the next one. He's the next one at CIA.
We spotted him, man. We in Green spotted him, boy. We knew it was coming.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that game though, real quick. I mean, I know you finish up with Tarpon, but just because that game was like probably to me like the craziest game I think I've seen in the last 3 years, just going around the state. I mean, did you think back like when that happened? Like, do you feel like that was maybe the craziest game you've played in your high school career?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the craziest games I played in because of that Hail Mary win. But yeah, that was definitely a crazy game because I remember the other team, the dude did a backflip and that caused a penalty for them. So that like changed the whole game. It was crazy.
Small things, man. The small things, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, Guy, thank you so much, and great watching you. Throughout the years at CIA and Tarpon Springs, and seeing the kind of season you had this year, and you guys. You guys right there with Bishop Verot, one of the top teams over there in Southwest Florida. I don't know if I really had you guys having as much of a shot as you guys did, but you definitely proved me wrong, and you guys had a heck of a season this year.
Yes, sir. We're supposed to beat them though, but it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good, man. Well, man, man. Good luck moving forward, man. We appreciate you, and we'll be hollering at you, man, when we announce this Player of the Year.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all for having me on the show, man.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too, man.
Yeah. All right, fellas. All right. So, man, before we bring our next guy on, man, we're gonna finish going over this second team real quick and talking about him real quick. The second team started off with Mr. Noel Brown, headliner, who went on a tear at the end of the year, man, and he's our next guy up. We talked about PYM now. We got Mason Stark, Mr. Carroll, Mr. Sparrow, and Mr. Smith, along with Mr. Jones. And before we bring Mr. Brown on, what you guys think about this list?
Yeah, this defensive list is as solid as they come. I think like the top sack leaders at the top on the D line, and you got the top tacklers at the linebacker spot. It doesn't get any better than that. And then this defensive backfield is just as solid as they come. With Jeff Jones bringing up the rear as a utility, he's a guy, of course, that's getting ready to maybe set some more records here in this game coming up, possibly could be. But just overall, man, all of these guys again showed that they belong. They came into the year with high expectations, and they all capitalized on trying to have the best season possible. So hats off to those guys on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What about you, Ed? Do you like this list?
I do. Yeah, I think this. It looks like it'd be a 3-4 type team because you got the 3D linemen and then you got the linebackers. But you gotta like your edge guys there, and then Noel at the nose, and then with the linebackers, obviously Stark coming in the defensive secondary, so he doubles up as the lone two-way guy. But and then I see Jeff Jones there as the Mr. Utility guy, obviously able to kind of do everything for St. Pete. So yeah, I think it's a good list of the top defensive players in the county.
All right, cool. So we got Mr. Noel Brown in the building, man. Want to say what's going on to him? How you doing, sir?
Good, good. How about y'all?
Man, we doing great, man. We doing great, man. We want to
Neil Brown.
yeah, tonight, man, definitely, man. So we definitely want to thank you for showing up tonight, man. We want to once again give you a shout out, man, because man, you did your thing at the end of the season. You came on hard, man. We love how you did that at the end of the year. So we look forward to signing day. We know somebody's gonna come around, man. We already know how this signing day thing go, man. A lot of teams come on late. So before you sign, we want to give you our congratulations, man, because we already know that is coming, man. So before we get started, man, I'll just start off with my question. Let's see. I actually had it wrote down, man. But so you pretty much had your team had an incredible season. You had an incredible season personally. Looking back throughout the year, looking back throughout your career, I know you are
Mhm.
the Clearwater Sacks leader. What just reflect on some positives. How do you feel about your career? Do you feel like you left anything on the field? How do you feel about how Clearwater High as a whole, man?
I say I feel real good about my career. Every year I just got better at the things I needed to work on. Always ask questions. Got better watching film, knowing the players I'm going against. And just the coaching staff, wonderful. They're gonna help you and help develop you every way they can. You got a question, they know the answer to it, and they just gonna build you as a player and a person.
All right, definitely, man. So breaking that all-time sack record, that we already know that's a testament to your hard work and dedication. Did that take on any extra significance when you got it? Was that something that you was really looking to? When did you really have your eye on that? Was it last season? Was it going into this season?
So last season it was a big goal that I was trying to break, but it was kind of harder to do because I had lost a lot of weight last season, so I was playing a little smaller. But I really didn't think about it this season until like we got into like our fourth or fifth game, and I realized I was actually on track to break it. So then after that, I just was like I was on the hunt trying to get every quarterback I could.
That's right. That's right, man. And before I pass you over to Green, so we know the season ended sooner than you hope. What was some of the valuable lessons you learned from your teammates and coaches this year that you feel like you're going to take it to college moving forward? What did you really learn from the losses and the wins moving forward?
Um, some things I really took in. Big injuries matter. Like you're gonna need your best guys at all times. Always listen to the coaches. Let them know what's going on out there on the field. Let them know what you're getting. If you could tell your coaches what you're getting out there on the field, they can help you put you in a better position. And just take in everything they telling you because they ain't telling you nothing wrong.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna pass you along the Green once again, man. Congratulations. I know, like I say, signing day is coming up. Somebody's gonna be hollering at you, so I just want to send that congratulations. Go ahead, y'all. You got it, Green.
Gotcha. So Noel Brown again, man. Congratulations on a job well done. Just a few questions for you. What or who do you try to pattern your game after? Like, who do you watch in college, or was it somebody in the NFL that you say, man, I want to, model my game after this particular player?
I can't say one person in particular. I kind of watch a handful of guys and just like look for moves I could try to use or just like look for things I could use in my game. But if I had to name a few, I'd probably say like Aaron Donald, Dexter Lawrence, Quentin Williams, guys like that.
Gotcha. When you guys, I was going to ask as well. When you now that the season's over, And I know one of the big things is finishing strong as far as in the classroom and making sure things is on point. What are some of the things you're going to be doing to prepare yourself for the next level?
Staying in shape, conditioning, lifting with Coach Store, because like out of every coach in the county, I don't think no coach gonna lift like Thor. Like he just gonna help you get big. And then like you said, just staying on my schoolwork, keeping my grades up, so I got the best opportunities when they come.
Gotcha. Okay. And is there any school right now that you're saying, man, if I can just get that O from them, it's a done deal?
Any D1 school right now, but I mean, I love to stay in the city and go to USF.
Okay, yeah, that'd be a good choice. People will be able to still continue seeing you as the sack master as you are. Last but not least, where do schools or what have the coaches that you talk to from the different colleges, where do they see you playing at on the defense?
A lot of them told me they want me at nose guard.
Okay, at the nose, gotcha. Okay, okay, yeah, and they do you know when you're going to make a decision? Because I know you have a couple of schools right now that's offered you, and I know a few more going to come. Will you be an early signing day, December 4th kid, or you think you're going to push it out and kind of see what comes down the pike a little? That something may come a little later.
I think I'm gonna definitely wait and see what comes a little later.
Gotcha. Smart man, because I know they coming. So just stay prayed up, man. Stay humble, stay faithful, and watch the good Lord work in your favor.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Ed, you got anything for Noel?
I'll ask a couple questions. One was the one game I got to see Clearwater against River Ridge. I would have liked to seen them up close and personal, but I had to sit in the stands with the fans, so kind of stunk to not be able to be right there on the field level. But Noel, I was looking through some of the offers, and I saw Charlotte made you an offer. And Biff Poggi was dismissed yesterday as head coach. I mean, is that still have they had any communication with you since early 2023 when they offered you?
No, sir, not really.
Okay. I just wanted to touch on that because, with him being out, obviously probably going to open up recruitment there. Talk about your guys' season. You guys started off 1-3. I remember just going into that Largo game, talking with these guys. I said, this is kind of gonna make or break their season with this Largo game. If they win, they're gonna go on a winning streak. If they lose, it could definitely change the trajectory in a whole different way. Did you guys within the program feel that way about that game because it was a rivalry game and just kind of the meaning of what it would do to your guys' season if you could win that?
Yes, sir, it definitely did. We just went in thinking we got to win out. Like we got to win every game after the loss to CCC, and we just all met together and we just had a conversation about it. And we all just talked about the things that we got to do to win from now on. And after we did that, it just clicked.
Just being able to see that springboard you guys into the winning streak that you had. Just what did it mean for you in this season to just kind of go out with a district title, that winning streak? I mean, obviously, the season, the playoffs not ending, the way you guys would want, but I mean, you guys got to be happy the way that things kind of turned around, and being able to win a district title is always something to be proud of.
Yes, sir. It meant a lot because it could have went real bad because how it was going, man. It got real depressing at first, but as soon as we turned it around, everything just started going in our favor, and we just started dominating. So it meant a lot for sure.
And I mean, I know there's all-star games taking place. Are you playing in this? I see there's a Howard Franklin Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Are you taking part in that all-star game?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure the guys maybe already knew. I'm just hearing about this game, so interested to see how this is all going to turn out. But Noel, thank you for coming on with us, and you've had a tremendous career over at Clearwater.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, definitely, man. Appreciate you going well, man. We'll holler at you later, boss.
Yes, sir.
All right, Noel. Be good, bro.
All right, man. All right, definitely, man. And guys, we got one more guy to bring in, Mr. I don't wanna mess his name up. So Mr. Krause, I want to say I got that right, but we're gonna
Yep.
see if he gonna have it correctly from CCC. He's gonna be coming in, man. He's lately he's been the guy that's kind of been keeping us up on the history of what's going on in the county with Mr. Newton and really opening our eyes, man, to the greatness that we have coming out of CCC. So we want to say what's going on, how you doing this, how you doing today.
Hey guys, how you doing? Royce, Coach Green, Andy. First off, thank you for what you guys do. It's anybody who's talking high school football in Pinellas County worth their weight in gold. It's a great county. There's a lot of talent here in Pinellas County, and just really appreciate the opportunity to speak with everyone today. And just thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Definitely, man. So, just to let you guys know, because we're gonna be running a little bit over today, because I know this gonna be a very interesting show. So we might cut off after about an hour and then restart. So it'll be the same link just in case that happens. So just letting you guys know. Uh, Mr. Krause, man, we just wanted to say once again, thank you, man. And so really, the reason why we brought you on here, man, is because we know that Jashawn, they're busy over there at CCC. Last year we had Coach Harvey on, man, just to talk about what's going on at CCC and the greatness that we're witnessing right now. So just from a different perspective, we wanted to talk to someone. But before we get started, just tell us about yourself. I know you have a show yourself. Um,
Yeah, so I've been around Clearwater Central Catholic High School football in some way, shape, or form since 1992 when my family first moved down to Clearwater, Florida. I was in fourth grade. I was a Bowder Elementary boy. For those who remember Seminole High School and their 2000 team, Loman Dorsey was the running back of that team. I actually went to elementary school with Loman Dorsey, and we went to Bowder, Seminole Middle. We moved after that over to Melbourne, Florida. So I didn't get an opportunity to go to CCC myself, but I grew up a CCC fan. Basically, I created a show called the Marauder Minutes because over my entire life, I've kind of cataloged CCC football, the good, the bad, the indifferent, and in recent years, it's really become a thing where the alumni have come out, and even the community in general has come out, just wanting to know a little bit about more, CCC football. So I've started doing the Marauder Minutes podcast to kind of introduce the history of some of these games and some really interesting trivia that a lot of individuals may not know. Like, for instance, the first time Clearwater Central Catholic ever defeated Tampa Catholic, it was at Jesuit High School because neither CCC or Tampa Catholic had a football field. So the football games back then were played at Jesuit. So just little things like that, and it's really gotten a lot of community, a lot of community interest. And yeah, so just kind of talk about. I basically just talk about CCC, who we're playing that week. Obviously, this week we're playing Carrollwood. The history of that series going back to the school's founding in 1964. So I look at each individual game that's ever been played by those schools, and just talk a bit about the players and their involvement.
yes, sir. Definitely, man. And like I say, we keep up with you. So let's just, like I say, we know Gershawn Newton's a gem. We know that the whole Newton family is a gem. Name some other players that you would say from CCC that you would put on your top five as far as that you see with your eyes.
Sure. For CCC, Jeff Smith Jr., Jay
Yeah,
Davis, Jay
I
Davis.
remember Jay. Yeah,
Jay Davis, he had that great rivalry with St. Pete Catholic and Chris Davis. They would go back and forth and get some wins going back to 97, 98, 99, 2000. It was great football.
yeah, I
Um,
remember that.
CJ Cotman obviously belongs on that. But another name I want to throw out there, because I actually just had this conversation before coming on. One of the hardest hits I've ever seen is in high school football. Probably the hardest hit I've ever seen in all my years at CCC was from a player named LaRue Rump, CCC class of 2002. I'm working on a documentary right now. I've just gotten a hold of some players from North Florida Christian School. In 2001, Clearwater Central Catholic High School played North Florida Christian, who at the time had won 3 straight state championships. And that was the first time, I believe, that a Pinellas County team had ever defeated a defending state champion. Was that North Florida Christian game, and they were led by Ernie Sims Jr. And I always felt that game has gone underappreciated. And LaRue Rump was a huge part of it. He was playing safety linebacker, and he came down and met Ernie Sims in the hole. And the noise that impact made, the fact that the alumni are still talking about that to this day. So he definitely gets a spot on Mount Rushmore for me at CCC just because of that game by itself. But Johnny Newton, obviously the Newton families. I mean, you could create a Mount Rushmore of CCC football with just them alone. But yeah, there's been some terrific players in CCC history.
Definitely, man. Yeah. I remember LaRue Rump, man. He was him. Was Riley Cooper at CCC?
Yes, don't get me wrong. He's on the list
Riley
too.
He
was class of 2005 along with Colin McCarthy. They deserve all their flowers, but
the two as defensive backs. Yeah.
The only challenge with that is Riley transferred in his sophomore year, so he was actually at Seminole High School his freshman year and then transferred in. Colin actually, before he became a linebacker, played quarterback for CCC. If you go back, we played his sophomore year. He was a quarterback, and then he swapped over to linebacker under the coach Michael Gelazzo era at CCC. So great players themselves. But yeah, when you look at it, through the context of history, each era has their guys. When you look at football in general, you could name any school. Regardless, like the McCluster era at Largo or some of the other players that the De Novo era at East Lake, every team has their eras. So yeah, there's some great players that have come through CCC, and I'm very fortunate to have watched them all. And the one question I get from the players and the alumni is, who is the best team in school history? And I will not answer it.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
You need to answer that. You get answered.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, on paper, it would be the 2012 team. Offensively, I think the 2014 team. Just to show you guys something here, the CCC history book, and this is a tidbit for the group, for the guys. The CCC history book isn't a book, by the way. It is literally a bunch of paper that shows all the stats from every game played, defensive tackles, play calls, defensive play calls, offensive play calls. And I literally have one of these. I'm not joking. I wish I could show it to you, but literally play calls, stats for players, pancakes, every single thing. And I have this going all the way back to really almost the beginning of time at CCC history. So, I mean, I'm trying to archive it, but holy smokes, it's a job. This is a lot.
Yeah, definitely, man. Because when you gave me that stats, I was like, where did you get this from? Like, I said it had to be something that you knew personally, man. But we definitely, I think, people needed to see that. Like people really needed to see what we had, and people already knew. But I definitely think that was something we needed to know. And then I don't know how I found out about Jeff Jones. Somebody else came with that, and I was like, man, just that those are 2 gems. But those guys that you naming, I mean, back when CCC was playing Chris Davis, I mean, these were awesome players. And Chris Davis he was kind of that, he was ahead of his time. And if he had the opportunities, he probably would have had some better stats too. Because back then, the type of stats he had, I mean, it wasn't compared to what we have now. But he was All-American.
He deserves every bit of praise that he ever got and ever continues to get. And the fact that we're talking about Chris Davis in 2024 speaks to the quality of what he did as a football player that we remember his career so fondly. I remember I tell the stories about the Chris Davis era quite often at CCC. A lot of our players know vaguely the St. Pete Catholic era. It's unfortunate we don't play them anymore in football, but there's a couple of teams I wish we played every year. And Cardinal Mooney is another one of those teams that we used to play every single year. I get it all the time about why don't we play this team or this team, because they're the historical rivals, and we don't. Chris Davis and that St. Pete Catholic team, though, I vividly remember the 2001 game. I just want to give this real quick because I don't want to go too long on this segment for you. But one quick statement about that. That was the one game Coach Davis, John Davis at the time, we purposely didn't rush him. We tried to make a circle around him so he couldn't break the circle. It was literally the game plan, and it took all week to implement that game plan because the defensive lineman is to get the quarterback, right? Defensive lineman mindset, get the quarterback. That was the one game that they actually had to go against their natural instinct. Don't go after the quarterback, just make sure he can't run.
Yeah, Chris, he was. If you have not seen him, kids, go to YouTube, pull up Chris Davis. You know what I'm saying? And you
of
will
course,
see some classics with Chris Davis. And that stopping on the dime was ridiculous. Oh man, it was crazy.
And then they had Jock Sanders right after him too.
Jock Sanders, yeah. And that team, the St. Pete Catholic had their time. They really did, because that team that Chris had was stacked defensively, offensively. But CCC was stacked as well. They had I remember was that did he play against Jay? I want to say he played against Jay.
Jay was football class of 2000, so that would have been Chris Davis's junior year. Okay. So Chris played against
Marcus
CCC.
Edwards. That was Marcus Edwards.
Marcus Edwards, James Somers, Mike Scanlon, Nick. We had the Capogna brothers, LaRue Rump. That was Marcus Edwards. That was his senior year. That was the 2000 game. So yeah, that was. It was just great football. And even going back to Chris's sophomore year, they beat us. St. Pete Catholic beat us. It was a 40-7, and they beat CCC 40-7. And that was the game that Jay Davis. We didn't have Jay that game because he had broken his collarbone, so he was actually out for most of that year. And then he came back at the very end of the year, and then we won the three-way shootout. So we played Tampa Catholic and St. Pete Catholic in a three-way shootout, and we were able to get them both in the shootout. But then we ran into Cardinal Mooney at the time, who was the powerhouse, and there wasn't really an answer for what Cardinal Mooney was bringing to the table during that era.
Right, Andy, man, you got something for Dan tonight?
Do I? We gotta talk about this. I know we spoke at the St. Francis game, which we won't talk about that game.